Hello, I've just found this bike on the street. It looks like it's been thrown away. It's in a very sorry state, but it has a lot of potential. It's a Moser frame and it's got some very nice details and fancy purple and chrome effect on the frame. Most of the parts look quite worn, specifically that we're going to need to replace the bar tape, and I've noticed also that one of the shifters appears to be broken, so we're going to have to try and fix that. Otherwise the wheel looks like it's not centered or not true anymore, and the tires look like they're both popped. The seat post is very likely going to be stuck inside there, and we need a new saddle. All in all though, lots of potential, and with a bit of work we can get this back onto the road. Now since it's free, I don't have to too much worry about the budget. I can put a little bit of money onto the new seat post and saddle, etc, etc. Let's begin by removing the parts on the bike. Some of them need to be cleaned, some need to be fixed, and some need to be replaced. I'm going to begin with the pedals and then the crankset. My favourite, nice and sticky old glue. That'll be fun to clean. This is where I'm hoping to salvage a spring from to put back onto this one, as long as this is working anyway. So this is the A410. And I think this is I think it's a 550. Hold on. Yeah, ST 550. But they look on appearance identical, other than the color. They're probably not identical though, but I think this part here is, so we can just swap out this spring and put it back onto this one, and we'll see if we can get this to work again. I'll be making sure that I keep the ferrules, because I remember last time I had a hard time finding a ferrule that fitted for on the, I think it was the rear brake. No, rear derailleur. I'm pretty sure that this is a lock ring and we need to take it off. It's super stuck. I can't take it off. I'm going to have to leave some penetrative oil on this and have another go tomorrow. The next potential nightmare is this seat post. Let's find out if it's going to be hard to remove or not. A little bit of sport for the morning, muscle building. What I ended up trying to do is, instead of undoing the top lock ring, I've decided to tighten the lower one, and then maybe that will loosen up the other one. And guess what? It worked doing it that way. Not surprisingly, very oily and rusty. It was feeling fine though, so normally just cleaning should be okay. That's everything for today. I think I'm going to just get along with just general cleaning and fixing that shifter, and then and I might move the bottom bracket as well to clean the interior of the shell. Today it's really horrible and raining outside. It's a good time though to move on with this. I'm going to take off these high-vis stickers that the person had put on before. I've made this nice little handmade tool. I was on the boot sale the other day, and they'd thrown away these bits. I don't know what they were for. Probably for some sort of cutlery. Anyway, I sharpened them up, and they're really cool actually for removing, getting underneath these stickers. Of course, the bottom bracket is Italian threaded. I nearly started assuming it was stuck, and of course, no, it wasn't. It's just both cups are, was it right hand threaded? This should be quite fun. There were quite a few parts on the headset, and I have completely forgotten the order. So I'm going to need to figure that out now. That actually feels really, really smooth. I thought the headset was a bit crunchy and could be terrible. Turns out it's actually alright. After a few weeks, this is where I'm at with the frame. Mostly cleaning and sourcing a seat post and saddle. But yeah, mostly cleaning. So we're going to now reinstall the parts today. And yeah, let's get going. I really like this RX100 Groupset. It's super comparable to the 105. I think it's the 105.5. There's hardly any difference, and you can get these the whole group of the RX100 for a lot less. Here I am servicing the derailleur, which I did a video on. And I agree with the choice of the RX100 at the rear instead of an Ultegra. From what I remember, the Ultegra, the 105 and the 600, the differences between the derailleurs are not vast. My kid is taking people's registration plates, apparently. That's fun. When I was a kid, I used to play with Lego. Did you? Oh, apparently she's really played with it. The old chain looked okay, and it's obviously been changed because there's a quick link on it. So we're not using an old chain from the late 80s. I cleaned up most of it and completely degreased it, etc. So now I'm going to re-grease it. I mean, if it's no good, I'll just, or it's worn, I'll replace it with a new one. Well, we're not going to be going much further on this wheel. I've just found a crack. I don't know how I missed that before. So this rim now needs to be replaced, which is a bit of a nightmare. I've already looked to see if I could find one. I haven't. I'm going to have to go to the bike recyclery, see if I can find anything that can be used. It's 36 spoked wheel. Let's find out. This is what I ended up finding. It's 36 spoked. It's on a Mavic hub, but the Mavic hub's completely shot, and the spokes are damaged on this. Unfortunately, the rim's slightly thinner and higher as well, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to use the same spokes. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare, really. But anyway, let's begin and see if we can potentially use this again. And now the procedure of removing the spokes from here, and then we transfer them onto the other rim. To speed up the process, once I've undone all the spokes, obviously you don't want to do this before, use the electric screwdriver to remove them. So, long story short, I had to tighten up these spokes for quite a bit, but I think I've gotten away with it, and it's going to work. So now I just need to true up the wheel, and we're going to find out 100%. Long story short, I completed the wheel. It's not perfectly round. The problem though is the rim isn't obviously the same, and the spokes on the right side would need to be slightly shorter. A lot of things got neglected on the frame, mainly due to the amount of time I spent on the wheel sourcing a 27 diameter C-post, amongst others. Finally, I get to test out the shifters that I'd fixed, see if it works. I couldn't figure out the problem with the shifting, and then I did. The cable guide underneath the bottom bracket has come loose, and that's because this nib that was holding it has corroded. So now I need to figure out how to replace this. There's no threading, so possibly gluing it back in. I ended up just using a screw and just made some threading myself. I probably spent the most time on the C-post. I bought two off the internet. Both advertised as 27, ended up being 27.2. Ended up locally swapping a chainring with a 27, which isn't ideal, but it's at least working. I'm starting to understand why this bar tape was so cheap. It's just terrible. I'm going to have to obviously brush up on my guidoling skills, because that's looking pretty awful. Few things to finish off, but I'd say that we are done. All there is left to do now is stick on some pedals, and we're going to test ride it. Oh, some goats. So other than the derailleur needs a tiny little bit of adjustment, the bike is riding amazingly. Nothing wrong so far. I can't say I like the clipless, or at least the strap-on pedals, but that's what you had to make up with, or you had to do in the past. There's going to be a concert there tonight. That's fun. Get some speeds. So unfortunately it's not bright and sunny today, so we're not going to be seeing the that lovely shiny metal reflecting. In fact, it's kind of rainy. I did end up putting these pedals. They're not the 105s. I think they might be X-Age. Anyway, from the late 80s, probably early 90s. I'm globally very satisfied how this bike turned out. Took a bit longer than I'd expected to complete in light of the wheel, but as always, I'm happy we've got to the end. I'm heading back home now. It's clearly time for a beer. Thank you for listening, and until next time, peace out.